Yo, what's up, guys? Be by Hits and yeah. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I turn this vocal from this
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose.
into this.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close. So I started to hit her from the backside, I. Shorty looking like she's black China. Say you make me freeze with the eye contact. Say me love the body rhythm, I can't lie. So me say you.
Yo, what's up, guys? So yeah, my previous video, if you've not watched it, someone asked me to make a video on how I mix these vocals, and I decided to show you guys. And for these vocals, I basically use wave plugins. So if you have wave plugins alone, you can achieve this. So I'm going to like quickly take down all the sounds. So I'm going to start from the scratch and also show you guys my thought process why I was actually mixing this. So yeah, the first thing I like to do when I want to mix a vocal is to first of all clean my vocals. And it depends on the artist. Some artists might want that natural feel, those kind of sounds. So in a situation whereby the artist wants that natural feel, instead of like taking it totally out like I did over here, like taking it totally out, you can just highlight it and drop down the volume so that the will not be too loud. But in my own case personally, because this is my vocals, I don't like to hear that sound. So I always go into my vocals and clean it up, make sure everything is neat. And I also double click them and also try to raise the volume and make sure that the waves are uniform, like you can see them like uniform in the eye. So I always try to do that. So the first thing I always put in my channel is a utility, and this is basically so that I'll be able to use it to do automations for my gain and for my balance in the track. Because if you do automation around these places, I notice that anytime you try to make any little change, the automation is going to automatically switch off. So I advise you to always have a utility on your channel if you're using Ableton. So yeah, that's what I always like to do. So the next thing I want to do is to remove any background noise. But for this vocal, there was no noise because I was in my studio and it's quite silent. But I still use NS1 if you are using waves. So I just bought it to like, let's say 20. And yeah, I think that was okay. And if you can hear,
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you. Looking fly.
so you can even see without this,
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you.
it's still quiet. So but in a situation I just try to like raise it up just a bit, but you can use NS1 to take out your background noise. If your background is so noisy, you just raise this up, but make sure you don't overdo it so that it doesn't really get into the vocals itself. But in my case, I have a clean vocal, and that's why I always advise when you're recording an artist, make sure that your vocal is clean. That's really important and key. So after doing that, the next thing I want to do is to add in my auto tune. And if you have waves, you can use the waves tune real time. And this has been my go-to tuning plugin, tuning VST for a long time now. And when you're using auto tune, you want to make sure that you're using the key of the song. So the key of the song that I produced was in G major. So I'm obviously using G major for the key, and I just brought down the speed to like 0.01. Sometimes if I don't want the auto tune to be too much on my vocals, I can bring it down to like, let's say 2.2.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you.
And for the range, I wanted it to be around this range. When you switch on the baritone, it's going to just change the ranges. So I wanted it to be around this, from the C1 to around this side.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close.
So at this point, I was already liking what I was hearing. So the next thing I do after tuning, just a personal preference and quick disclaimer. I'm not saying this is the best way to mix your vocals. I'm just showing you guys how I mix my vocals. And if you have Waves plugin, I just wanted to use one particular plugin. And if you want free or whatever plugin, also plugin bundle, let me know in the comment section and I'll do where to do that. So I'm using Vox, and what I always use Vox to do basically when I drop Vox on my vocal channel is just to raise the volume up. For some reasons, I just like to do that actually. So I just drop in my Vox, then I bring this down to like, I make sure it doesn't go beyond this 12 right here, minus 12 right here. And this is what we have.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you.
So this is before the Vox. This is what we have before the Vox. We have this
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you.
with the Vox.
Gangsta, I Get I want a piece of you.
So you see, I just basically use this to raise volumes, like nothing else. So the next thing I did was to drag in my F6 stereo for the EQ, and I'm going to explain to you guys what I was doing here. So the first thing I always do is to cut my vocal, the lows, because they're not really needed, and I basically use my ears, you know. So I just like do a quick high pass, and I just keep moving till I get to a point where I feel like okay, I'm okay with it. And for this case, it is 184. Like I said, it changes because I basically use my ears when I'm mixing. I don't like really use my eyes. Yeah. So after doing that, the next thing I do is to cut out some frequencies that I don't like, and I just basically raise up the frequency spectrum like this and search for what I don't like, and I just bring it down. I do the same thing for my 2, the 5, and I'm always looking at the 400, the 500, 600. Around that part, you always get that boxy feel. So I always go around that side. As you can see, this is 514. This is 822 kilohertz. So yeah, I just basically go around 400 to 500, 7, 8, 1000, and just pick up those boxy sounds, and I just bring down the boxy frequencies down, and I increase a little bit of the, although I was supposed to use this EQ only for subtractive EQ, but I just added a little bit of highs around here, and this is what the vocal sound with this EQ.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you are choose.
So at this point, I can still hear a little bit of low end in my vocals and a little bit of mid frequency, but I'm going to show you guys how I got to sort that. So yeah, the next thing I did after doing this obviously is to bring in my compressor, and I'm using an owl compressor for this, and I'm just basically using the fast attack, fast release, because when you're singing fast, pa, 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 you want to use fast attack, fast release, so that the compressor is grabbing it fast and releasing it fast to catch the other vocals. But in a situation whereby you are singing slow, you know, you can now use a slow compressor. You understand? So fast attack, fast release for fast like rap and fast singing. Then maybe fast attack, slow release for a slow kind of song. And if it's too slow, you can use the slow attack, slow release. But if you want the special video on compression, just let me know in the comment section. So that's what basically I'm using. And for my ratio, I'm just basically using ratio 3.13.
Gangsta, I get I want.
And for this one, we can just make it add like
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you.
you can see we're losing like -1, so we can just add like 1.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you are choose.
Just to compensate the volume back to what it was.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you.
Let me explain using this place. So let me take this off, and
Gangsta, I
you see where we are around
Gangsta,
there.
I get
We're at -16.7, but by the time I bring this in, you see what happens.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you.
You see, we reduce a little bit of the volume, so we want to compensate for that, give it back the volume. So let's go to +0, +4.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you are choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close. So I start to hit up on the backside. I shot.
So yeah, you can see we're back to the -16. So you want to compress and give a makeup gain to make up for what you've lost. And I'm back to my -16.
Gangsta, I get I wanna.
And this stress, I'm just basically looking
Gangsta.
for the highest frequency, and I'm just making sure I'm just telling it when it cross this
Gangsta.
part, just compress it. And I'm using the 2.6 for right now because I just feel like that worked.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you are choose.
And this was just basically bringing back what you've lost, because anytime you compress your vocals, you're going to lose maybe 1, 2, 3 dB. So you want to make up that dB that you've lost. You understand? So that's why you see me adding 4 so that I can get back to my -16. So that's just basically what I did around here. So the next thing I did after adding a compressor is to add in a parallel compressor. And if you've been watching my videos, what I always use for parallel compression is the CLA vocals, and I just use the Rockman preset, okay? And what I just do is basically turn off the treble, leave the bass, and I just use this compress to, like, you know, try to balance and mix it into the vocals.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of.
See, that's too loud. When you take it low.
Gangsta, I get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you are choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close.
So I think I'm okay at the 3.9.
Gangsta,
So I can bring these vocals down.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose.
Because most times when I'm mixing my vocal to blend it with my drums, I'm making sure it's not really going above -18, because I've noticed most times in my mix, when I'm around this side, the vocal balances with the drums and bass and everything together. So that's why you see me, I'm always trying to make sure it doesn't go beyond this maybe -16.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose.
So we can play that with the instrument.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close.
So if you notice, you can get a little bit of the muddiness and a little bit of the lows. So I bring in my Subtractive EQ. I like this. This is what I always use to take out some lows and also adding a little bit of air and a little bit of presence. And this is what we have.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close. So I start to hit her from the backside. Shorty looking like she's black China.
So you can see when we take up the botch, this is what we have.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. And if you give me,
if you add in the botch,
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose.
So you can hear this. We're going to solve that last. So the next thing I do after I add an EQ, I compress, I do a parallel compression, I add botch just to like take off a little bit of the mid-range, then I add in a color and I use Saturn. And if you've been watching my videos as well, I don't do anything, I just use the Magic BM preset and I just get this.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close.
So that's just basically what it is. And the next thing I always add is an SSL channel. And I like to add this because I just like how it sounds on my vocals. Like I always say, like I said, this is not the, I'm not saying this is the best way to do it, but I'm just showing you guys how I mix my own vocals. And if you like my technique, you can use it because there's no right or wrong way of doing this actually. And if you want the vocal chain, let me know in the comment section and I'll probably provide it or something. So yeah. So around this side, I just take out a little bit of the lows again, 18. I always like to have that crispiness in my vocals, you know, that kind of light, crispy kind of vocals. So I increase a little bit of the HF, and around this side, what I just do is to like take out some frequencies in the high mid frequency, take out some frequency in the low mid frequency as well. Then I increase my threshold to like 20. Then I increase the ratio until I see that the light is almost hitting the side.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly.
So when I see that, I just stop immediately, and this is what I have.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you.
Okay, yeah, the vocal is sounding a little bit too compressed, but that's just what I like. You understand, for my own voice. This is it without the SSL channel.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose.
This is it with the SSL channel.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close. So I start to hit up from the back.
So now you can hear we're having that syllables in the vocal. So I use the DSR. I'm always using 2 DSR anytime I'm using that. And for that, I'm using the Waves DSR stereo 5506 frequency, and I put it on the -29.9.
Get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose.
And after doing that, the next thing I do is to pick up another one. Then I change the frequency to like 6100 to 6200.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. And if you give me, girl, you.
So you see, we took out the
Gangsta,
was so sharp, but now.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close.
And I'm adding a delay, and I'm using a H delay, and I'm basically using a 1/2. I brought down the wet because I didn't want it to be too loud, and I brought out a little bit of the low pass, and this is what we have.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you I choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close. So I start to hit her from the backside. Shorty looking like she's black China. Say you make me freeze with her eye contact. Say me love the body rhythm, I can't lie. So me say you looking so euphoria. Your body so glorious.
So I had to take out this because I didn't like how it was sounding. So just leave it at the normal one.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you are choose. And if you give me, girl, you not feel loose. Girl, come close.
So this knob is basically, if you want to get that radio feel, we can just give a low pass and.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say
so that's just basically what this is doing. So I think I'm cool around this side.
get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now.
So we can bring it down.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you are choose. And if you give me, girl, you not feel loose. Girl, come close. So I start to hit up on the backside. Shorty looking like she's Black China. Say you make me freeze with the eye contact. Say me love the body rhythm, I can't lie. So me say you.
So the next thing I add is a H reverb, and I'm just basically using the 4.39 seconds, and I expanded it. If you open it, it's going to be like this. I brought the wet down to like 7.7 because I didn't want it to be too wet. The tail is at 65.3, and I expanded it so I could take out the lows of the reverb, because sometimes, or most times can I say, when you have a lot of lows in your reverb, it can make the vocals muddy. You guys, your vocal is going to be really muddy. So for this case, I had to take out the lows, and this is what it sounds like.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you are choose. And if you give me, girl, you not feel loose. Girl, come close. So I start to hit up on the backside. Shorty looking like she's Black China. Say you make me freeze with the eye contact. Say me love the body rhythm, I can't lie. So me say you looking so euphoria. Your body so glorious, body so glorious, euphoria. Can you find from a distance? Me love the way your body move. Can you find from a distance?
You see, that was how we were able to get this voice. See how we took the voice all the way from this, the natural voice, and now we have this.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you are choose. And if you give me, girl, you not feel loose. Girl, come close. So I start to hit up on the backside. Shorty.
So you see, it's basically simple. Just a quick recap. The first thing you want to do, adding a utility for automation. The second thing, you obviously want to take out your background noise, and you can use NS1. The next thing you want to do is to add in a tuning plugin, which is Waves Tune, because we're basically mixing this with just Waves plugin. And this is, you can use this if you like. You cannot use this, but I just like to add our voice just to increase my volume a bit. And I'm using FC for Subtractive EQ, taking out some frequencies that I don't like. And after that, I compress, a fast attack, fast release. And after that, I'm using CLA vocals as a kind of a parallel compression. And after doing that, the next thing I added was Botch, just to take out some lows. And I just love this plugin on my vocals, man. Sounds really nice for me. And Saturn for color. And like I said, I don't do much. I just select the Magic BM and SSL. I just like how it sounds on my vocals, and I use it to take out some lows, bring in some highs. Do a little. If you want a special video on SSL channel stereo, let me know in the comment section as well. Please let me know anything you're having issues with, any plugin on the comment section. I'll be going through the comment section and making sure I make a special video for any plugin that you're having issues with. So I just basically add a ratio. I first of all take my threshold to like 20, add a ratio so that I can see light showing around there. I got this technique from a mixing engineer. I've forgotten his name, but I watched it. I watched the course, and it worked for me, and I've been using it up to then. There's no right or wrong way of doing mixing, and my mixing changes over time as well. And I use De-essing, and I always use 2 De-essers because I use 2 different frequencies. It's just my own style, and I'm using the H delay. I'm using the 1/2 but in a little bit of low pass, the wet, so that it's not louder than the vocal. I'm using 8, and then added in a reverb to make it wet, and we have this. So yeah, if you have any questions, if you're confused, if you want the vocal channel, just let me know. Waves, if you want a free plugin type of mixing, let me know. If you want any particular bundle that you have and you want to be using them to mix, if you want stock, let me know, and I'll do it to make a video. I'm here to serve you guys and for all of us to learn as well. And yeah, and I catch you guys in there. And I hope the guy that also asked me to do this video can comment on this comment section as well. Yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Remember to stay positive, and positive things will always happen to you. Peace.
Gangsta, get I want a piece of you. Looking fly, say now you are choose. And if you give me, girl, you know I feel loose. Girl, come close. So I start to hit her from the backside. I shorty looking like she's black China. Say you make me freeze with her eye contact. Say me love the body rhythm, I can't lie. So me say you looking so evil.